Alrighty, so we have the rematch. It's Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. So Usman, we know what happened in the first fight. Dominated him. He's also a bit bigger than him. 1 inch height advantage, 2 inch reach advantage. Jorge Masvidal, you know, this is going to be the first card with fans back. His style is definitely more fan friendly than Kamaru Usman, so it could influence the ref, especially if you get a ref like Dan Mergliata or whatever, likes to break up the clinch, likes to break up uh, the stalemates on the ground pretty quickly. So, kind of depends on which ref they get for this one. Because, yeah, I feel like crowds coming back definitely favours Masvidal. And it's in his hometown as well. Alright, so I think, yeah, Masvidal was in shape for the first fight. He looked, in decent shape. I think he wasn't in fight camp shape, but he was in decent shape and, he's still gassed after round one. So I think Usman's clinch game really took it out of him in the first fight. So I'm interested to see how his cardio holds up here, but I'm pretty sure he was in good shape and Usman's clinch game really took it out of him. And yeah. Alright, so in the striking for these two, I think Usman's stand-up's, improving every fight. His jab's really nice. They're onto something there with the jab. He really, puts his weight into it. Uh, yeah, he frequently switches his stance. He's able to fight well in both stance. He is pretty flat-footed. He keeps walking you down, but that's where he gets the power from his jab. For Masvidal, he's more light in his feet. He's got nice boxing. He's got, yeah, probably some of the best boxing in the UFC. For a key part of this fight, I think, is got to be the Usman jab. It's definitely his best weapon. I think Trevor Whitman's really found something there. And he likes to feint the jab, kind of walk you onto the fence and then he'll look to shoot, or just enter the clinch from there. But yeah, he's looking to get you, back against the fence and then he's looking for his takedowns or his clinch game from there. For Masvidal, he likes to, he keeps his hands away from his chin when he's backing up. He's been doing that a lot lately. Like, he never really used to do it, but he's been doing it lately. Which kind of, could get Usman to set up that 1-2 or the 1-1-2, because I'd imagine Jorge is going to be on the back foot in this fight. For Masvidal, he has, really nice fundamental boxing combinations in close, 2-3s, 3-2s, 1-2s. He's got that body kick when the opponent's in the opposite stance. So if Usman's going to be in southpaw, he's going to be looking for that body kick. But that body kick kind of leads into the wrestling game of Usman, and we saw him catch. Well, Jorge just got too predictable with the body kick. He went to it like 3 times in a row, or some shit in the first round, and I think Usman took him down really easily. But yeah, I think don't get too predictable with it, and it's fine enough to throw, but it's a dangerous technique to throw against a wrestler. And when Jorge is closing distance, he likes to switch stance to close the distance and then look for the left hook. That's what he caught Darren Till with. Very nice combination because Darren Till wasn't expecting the left hook at that range. But yeah, it was only open because he switched stance mid-combinate, well, as he was closing the distance. For Usman, in the clinch is likely where he wants to get it again. He dominated that part of the fight. Techniques that he utilizes in the clinch: he likes the knees to the body, likes the punches to the body. He will go up top with a slashing elbow, and obviously we can't not talk about the foot stomps. It's a big part of the first fight, but it gets them to move, and it opens up the takedowns. It's an effective technique. A few things Usman does that I don't particularly love on the feet is that he doesn't check leg kicks. He's heavy on the lead leg for that jab that he throws. His lead hand ducks. Well, his lead hand drops after throwing the jab. So once he does pop the jab out, he will drop it. But also, he ducks away from combinations and pressure. So when you're pressuring him, he will kind of dip his head, kind of lean back, and it kind of obscures his vision a little bit, or his peripherals at least, because he doesn't really have the greatest vision when he's ducking very. I think he's, quite stiff on the feet still. His stand-up has been improving, but I think he's a little bit stiff, just in general, on the feet. And he doesn't seem to like it when you pressure him very much. So yeah, that's something Jorge could definitely look at. But yeah, we'll get into the grappling. So in the grappling for these two, Usman likes to grab a single leg. He will either grab it just, at distance, or he likes to catch a kick and then, finish a single leg from there. And that's what happened in the first fight, as we talked about just before. He'll grab a single and then drive you to the fence and then work for his clinch game or his double on the fence. But yeah, he isn't the best at restraining opponents on the mat, to an extent that he can get his ground and pound going. He's not like a Khabib on the ground. He's more looking for control. But yeah, he hasn't mastered the ability to get off serious damage on the mat. He's mostly just looking for control, but that will come, I'd imagine. Because yeah, he does have really good wrestling. So I would imagine his ground control improves from fight to fight, and we start seeing more devastating ground and pound and more submission game out of him. For Jorge, in the clinch, he does have hard elbows. I think he caught Cesar Ferreira with those elbows in the clinch. So I'd imagine he'd be looking for those here with a full camp. Hopefully, as a better gas tank, doesn't have to take too much time off in the clinch. What he was doing in the first fight, he was just kind of looking to recover, in my opinion. Just kind of regroup his stamina a little bit. But yeah, all in all, Jorge does have, he has good defensive grappling. He is very hard to hold down. He's pretty hard to take down, just in pure wrestling situations. You can. I think most of the takedowns in their fight was him throwing a kick and Usman grounding him from there. But also the takedowns did come easier in the later rounds because Jorge was very tired. But yeah, I think his defensive grappling as a whole is very good, very underrated. All right, so how these guys win fights. Alrighty, so for Usman, his wrestling game as a whole is very solid. It's extremely solid. He's very strong in the clinch. He has unbelievable cardio. He was, he wore out Colby Covington, who has unbelievable cardio himself. And Usman didn't even look like he was tired in that fight. He's very well rounded. He's got unbelievable cardio. Works the body very well. I think he has the cardio advantage here. Absolutely, he has the cardio advantage over anyone in the welterweight division. Jorge's cardio is not bad. It's just not to the level of Usman's. And yeah, for Jorge, he has power in both hands. He has a good chin. He has good recoverability. Killer instinct. So if he does, get you hurt, he will go for the kill. Unlike Gilbert Burns, who had Usman hurt and then sat on his back for 2 minutes for some reason. But yeah, Jorge does have real good takedown defense. He has good get-ups as well. As we were talking about before, the good defensive grappling game. Alright, so how these guys lose fights, or how they, potentially can lose fights. For Usman, I think he has some general stiffness on the feet, especially when he is getting pressured, getting bombed, or getting combinations thrown on him. I think if you really crowd him and you really put the pressure on him, I think he doesn't like it very much. But also the striking tendencies we discussed before, especially the leg kicks, all that kind of stuff. For Masvidal, just passiveness, easily controlled in the clinch. In grappling situations, it's all well and good to stuff the takedown and not be taken down, but you've got to disengage from the clinch and get the fight where you want it. You're not going to win this fight in the clinch. Against Usman, he couldn't really do anything though, so Usman was just controlling him really well on the fence. He wasn't giving him any escapes. His underhooks were seriously on point. And yeah, it was what's his name? Jorge couldn't really do anything about it. Path to victory. So for Kamaru Usman, be on the front foot. Look to push the pace early, clinch early, just to sap the cardio from him. Don't exchange with him. Just pop out the jab. Don't get into a firefight. which he did at times in the first fight. So yeah, I like that straight punch to the body that you were using in the first fight. It kind of hides the single leg shot, which is eventually going to come. Teeps to the body as well, just really energy sapping techniques. But, you know, most importantly, get it into the clinch. I mean, obviously, that's where you had a huge advantage in the first fight and where you dominated the first fight. So, yeah, get into the clinch, work the body from there, and replicate your success in the first fight. So for Masvidal, more feints. You know, he was biting on the feints that you were throwing in the first fight. So yeah, more feints. Try and get him moving backwards. Leg kicks when he's in orthodox. Otherwise, if you go for the inside leg kick, it's going to be too easy for him to get onto your hips. Use your speed advantage in this one. Mostly go for counters. So yeah, when he throws the jab, look for the slip two. Overhand rights in orthodox to counter that jab. Extend the boxing combinations. Just, I think you should really try to expose this stiffness that perceived on my behalf on Usman. Look for high kicks, no body kicks this time. You know, he's never really shown a weakness to the body. His cardio's on another level. I don't think you're gonna, finish him with a body kick. I get that, it attacks the liver, but I think he's just so well conditioned that you're not going to catch him with a body kick. Just go up high. He has the better cardio anyway, so don't bother going to the body too much. I mean, it's fun to mix it up and, set up the head kick with the body kick, but yeah, don't make it one of your main weapons, which you did in the first fight. You just kept spamming the body kick. I didn't think that was a great game plan. But yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, don't waste energy if you do end up on bottom position. Don't start throwing jabs and straight punches and elbows or whatever. Just conserve your energy, look to get back to your feet and keep the fight on the feet. So, opportunities are going to be there. He doesn't have the greatest top control. So yeah, and if you give your back, he's not the biggest back taker, so it's there. Opportunities are there to get up, but just don't waste energy going for crazy offense off bottom. Alright, so how I see the fight playing out. So Jorge is the one that does need to change his game plan. What will he be able to do differently? ATT usually do come in with good game plans. I wouldn't be surprised seeing calf kicks implemented pretty heavily in this one. But, during Jorge's run of hype that he's been on, he's only been fighting one way, which is, aggressive, kick heavy, light in his feet, sitting down his punches, really committing, with intent to every punch. And that kind of just plays right into Usman's game. I believe he'd have more success if he came in with the old Jorge game plan, which was, quite passive on the feet, more defensively minded, tight boxing. I think that could serve him well in this fight, honestly. I doubt he goes back to that because he's all about, baptizing people now, and he's the BMF, all that kind of stuff. So I doubt he goes back to that approach, but I thought on tape he would have a lot more success with that approach than what he does now. But yeah, I think this fight will look roughly the same, with Usman just having more success on the feet. Masvidal really has to fight the perfect fight. He has to shorten the clinch exchanges. He has to do damage in the clinch. He has to keep distance in general, land his combinations, leg kicks, stuff the constant takedown and clinch attempts of Usman for 5 rounds. He's going to have to fight the perfect fight, and yeah, I don't see that happening. Usman's just on another level, just to be frank. Or he can land a bomb, he could land a flying knee or something like that. There are opportunities to knee Usman if you do get him dipping down on your, when you pressure him or your combination, you start throwing combinations on him, he will dip. Also, he will dip when he throws to the body, so knee opportunities are there, but I don't see it happening. Also, the pace that Usman brings is going to tire out Masvidal again. I think even if he's in the best shape of his life, I think he was slowing a little bit uh in my opinion in the Diaz fight as well. So yeah, I think if it goes to 4-5, Usman has a huge advantage. I think he just has the better cardio, absolutely, in this one. So yeah, it seems like if you put a pace on him, he will slow. That's what Diaz was doing. That's what Usman was doing. Yeah, I think yeah. Let's have a look. I think the fight looks generally the same as the first fight, unless Usman does something stupid, comes in, starts brawling or whatever. But I think yeah, I think Usman's smart. Is good fight IQ. I think he'll look for the clinch where he had so much success in the first fight, and it will look roughly the same. All right, let's have a look at the lines. Yeah, so the line is Usman's obviously a huge favourite. I think that's about correct, honestly. I think I'd favour Usman around 80 to 85% of the time, which is probably one of the highest percentages I've ever given on this channel. But yeah, I think he's just 100% the better fighter, better pretty much everywhere. Masvidal, I think, needs to land something huge. I don't think he's going to win on points. So I think that goes to decision. Prop, you might as well just bet Usman by decision. So yeah, if you can get Usman by decision at around $2, I think that's the play. I don't mind people parlaying Usman because I think yeah he does win a lot of a lot of the time. I think he's going to implement the same game plan. I don't really think Masvidal has too much for him, honestly. And I think yeah, I think he needs to land something huge. I think there's a very little chance that he outclasses Usman. But yeah, that's what I believe will happen. I think it's going to be roughly the same again. I think the prediction is Usman by decision. He's not a great finisher, and Masvidal's he's really intent on not being finished. That's that's one of his things he prides himself on. That he's very durable and he's hard to finish. But yeah, I think the same thing just happens again.